right, welcome back, everyone, for another episode of the Wednesday Watch List. This is my weekly look ahead to all the new comic books coming out this Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. I'm going to give you a rundown of all the things on my pull list, some variants to keep an eye out for, some incentives that might be on your radar, etc. Just things I think you need to be aware of before you hit the shop this Wednesday. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure that you like, you subscribe, you hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And if you want to see this week's rundown, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. All right, well, I might need to keep this one short because I seem to be losing my voice a little bit today. I just got back from seeing Captain America 4. Don't let the critics scare you off. It was a pretty good movie. I recommend checking it out in the theater. So just got back from seeing it myself. And again, don't let other people tell you what to see, even though I'm recommending that you see it. Just listen to people that you trust. Now, with that said, let me get right into it before I completely lose my voice and get into my pull list. Okay, so we're going to start it off, as you might expect, in the Energon universe because I'm a big fan. I'm a little bit biased. I know you guys know that by now, but we're getting another issue of G.I. Joe out this week. So it's going to be near the top of my poll, the top of the pile. One of the first things I check out when I get my books this Wednesday. But G.I. Joe number 4, the race is on. We'll see how this storyline continues to grow. We've got a cover A here. Couple other options here with a Derek Chew in the middle and a David Finch over on the side. We got your regular allotment of incentive variants as well with a 1 in 10, a 1 in 25, and a 1 in 50. Yeah, the 1 in 25 is kind of cool from a design standpoint, but when you think about it for an actual action figure, a dude in a suit probably isn't the most exciting design, but it works better in comics than, say, translated to an action figure. But, who knows? Maybe one day we'll get a G.I. Joe classified of this guy. But for now, design's all right for the comic. And then I like the 1 in 50. They've been doing these schematics there for vehicles. So seeing this old Cobra chopper is a lot of fun too, because it was one of those early vehicles for your figures that you got to play with. So I remember it fondly. Now, that 1 in 10, as you know by now, they connect. 1 in 10s in the Energon universe are all connecting covers. This is the final piece in this 4-piece set for the first 4 issues by David Nakayama. They all come together. All female characters. Pretty cool. I like it. I believe I'm going to get them all. I have the first 3, so I'll make sure I get that number 4 as well, just to complete the set for my own edification. Again, they're not worth all that much. None of the variants are really selling for any sort of premium right now, so you can generally find them for under ratio if you want to go and buy them. So it's up to you how you want to spend your money. Now, moving on, also on my pull list for this week is, I got to admit, I'm kind of sucked in with this storyline, with the Question. So the Question all along the Watchtower. We're halfway through the series. This begins the second half here with issue 4. I think it wraps up with number 6. This little, little bit of a mystery that we got going on the Watchtower. Like I said, I'm on board. I'm enjoying reading it. So I'm going to get the rest of this. This is number 4, the cover A. I really like the Perillo there in the middle. That'll be the one I'm probably picking up as relates to this title. And then you got another option there as well if you like, with a bunch of the logos. Also, I keep forgetting about this series because it comes out bi-monthly, meaning twice, once every 2 months, not twice a month. But Aliens versus Avengers issue 3 finally hitting shelves this week. $8 cover, so it is an oversized book at 40 pages. They charge you for it with an $8 cover. Pretty cool covers here, though. This is the cover A. We got a couple of other options here as well with, Iron Man strapped up on the wall, and you got a bunch of Avengers there and that one in the middle. And there is also a 1 in 25 option here as well with Black Widow and Scarlet Witch throwing down with a couple of Xenomorphs. Fun title. Just a story that I'm trying to keep up with. It's just, I keep getting lost track and forgetting where we're at because it's every 2 months. It's just one of those things. I think at this point, I'm just going to keep stashing these until it's done and just sit down and read them all at once, because waiting 2 months between books, I don't have the best memory these days as it comes to that. My old school memory of old school comics and books, it's on lock. That stuff's up here. New stuff, it takes a little bit more for it to settle in this old brain these days. But hey, that's what I guess you get with getting older. Now, with that said, also going to be picking up Amazing Spider-Man. Whether you like it or not, I'm telling you, I'm buying Amazing Spider-Man. My run is not going to be broken. It's not going to be incomplete. It is not complete, mind you. I still have a lot of issues in those first 100s to kind of pick up. A lot of pricey books in there, as you know, but I will finish it one of these days. That said, I'm not going to let the end of the run get skipped. So I'm getting this every month, week, or however often they decide to throw out the Amazing Spider-Man books, because we've gotten as often as once every 3 times a month. I don't even think they went weekly, but I do think they went as fast as 3 times a month at one point, as we're trying to rush towards that 1,000 issue. But 8 Deaths of Spider-Man continuing to roll on. Going to continue to read this one out. So issue 68 comes out with this option. We also got a Scotty Young. There are more covers for some of these Marvel books, but we'll get to them later when we get to those special theme variant segments. So don't worry, I got them covered once we get there. Another fun Scotty Young, though, which is also the 1 in 100 Virgin. Still a lot of empty space, but a lot of good space for a remark if you like doing that sort of thing. But 1 in 100 is a tall order to buy a book to get it drawn on, hopefully by Scotty Young. But there's also a 1 in 25 if you're into that too. Again, no doings as far as prices go. In fact, today I'm not even going to give you any eBay cuts of any pre-sale prices, because realistically, there's not a lot pre-selling right now. A couple of the 1 in 100s had like 1 or 2 sales, and they go back to like December, and it's like, how relevant is that now? So let's just wait and see how things roll out as we get to Wednesday. But I'm going to give you the heads up anyway. That said, more books to come, because I've got a lot on my pull list this week. I know earlier in the month it was a little slow. This week's hitting me hard in the wallet too, as you can see here, as we're getting not 1 but 2 Daredevil books. First, regular Daredevil, issue 18. I got Bullseye going on here, and Elektra, also called Daredevil. Wish she would just go by Elektra again, so it's not so damn confusing having 2 Daredevils, but it is what it is. Point being, Legacy issue 680, as they're building toward another milestone themselves, trying to get to 700. I'm going to be picking this up because I'm a Daredevil fan. I'm only going to show you this cover A because there are other covers, but they fall, I believe, in other sections later on. So we're going to move on from here to the other Daredevil book, the Elektra Daredevil book, Daredevil Unleash Hell. This is a red band, so it's going to be more mature readers read. This is issue 2. Going to continue to check this out, so we'll see where this one goes here. Oh, sorry, the little synopsis is the cut from the other one. But point being, going to get this, check this out. A couple of covers here, as we got Muse facing off against our Elektra Daredevil here, and there is also incentive options here as well, including a 1 in 25 and a 1 in 50, which is a version of that B cover that I just showed you. I like the 1 in 25 a bit. I don't know, just something about the layout. It just seems kind of cool to me. I think it's Declan Shavley, maybe? Can't remember who did the cover on that one. But point being, I kind of like the 1 in 25. The 1 in 50 ain't bad either, but I'm fine with just getting the trade dress on that one. Now, more to come. More and more Marvel. Marvel's hitting me hard this week, as I said. So Laura Kinney, Wolverine number 3. I'm enjoying this series. We also have Daredevil, the Woman Without Fear. I just keep calling her Elektra Daredevil because, again, can't we just call her Elektra? That said, continuing to read this story. Issue 3, pretty cool with the cover A. I do like the cover B quite a bit. I'm fine getting that one because they also have this one available in a 1 in 100 Virgin option, which could be one of those pricey books come Wednesday. We have a few more options like this with some nice art, 1 in 100, popular female characters. Those things can tend to go towards the more expensive side and above ratio. But so far, nothing really to write home about yet, but we'll watch it until Wednesday. Moving on, Mystique. Also enjoying this series. I don't think there's much left in it. I think this is the penultimate issue, maybe. I think it might be wrapping up after 6. But Mystique number 5 coming out this week, and I'm going to check that out as well. Only showing you the one cover here because the other covers fall in our animation segment and other theme variants later. So we'll keep it rolling as you see even more books that I have to buy this week, including Ultimate Wolverine. Not a huge singles Wolverine fan, but I am curious enough about this ultimate take on him, with him being the Winter Soldier, to read at least a couple more issues. So I'm still on board for issue 2 here. So going to check this out, see what's going on with the story, see if we have any more interesting takes with whole mutants, and you've got Colossus being the bad guy and all that fun stuff. Curious to see how this all plays out. So I'm going to continue reading this one. This is issue 2. A couple other options here as well. I love both other variant options, but the Lionel U in the middle is probably my favorite, and that'll probably be the one I grab personally. But we do have some incentives here as well, including a version of that cover A as a 1 in 100. And then there's also a 1 in 25 option there as well. So pretty cool stuff. Also, not done here with the mutants, because we also have Uncanny X-Men 10, which I think was delayed a couple of weeks for one reason or another. But we've got Uncanny X-Men 10 coming out. Just like Spider-Man, I'm an X-Men fan. I'm not letting a hole be created in my run. So regardless, I'm going to be picking this up. I am a little bit behind on my reading on Uncanny, but I'll catch up soon enough. The whole Gray Malkin thing kind of slowed me up. I haven't really caught up since that wrapped up, and that was only just a month or so ago. So I'm not far behind, but I do have to catch up on this. But issue 10 here, I don't even know if I am behind. This might just be the next one. Point being, the X universe is getting confusing for me with so many titles these days, because I'm enjoying a lot of them, like Mystique and Magic and Psylocke. Like, a lot of these solo titles are taking up a lot of my reading time. But here's the cover A. We've got a couple other options there as well. The Professor Xavier is part of a connecting cover set. Perhaps I'll show it to you when it's all done. I'm not thoroughly impressed by it, so it's not one I'm going to go race to collect personally. But if you're into that sort of thing, I'll try to get that for you once we got a little bit more going towards it. And then we got like a character profile kind of design cover there in the middle, which is also a virgin version for our 1 in 50. There is another 1 in 50 for this title, but it is one of those animation Mark Brooks covers that we'll get to later. Now, before we move on to the next segment of the show, I just want to remind anybody out there who hasn't tried Whatnot yet, now's your chance. Use the link down below to sign up and get yourselves a free $15 on me to spend on whatever you want with whomever you want. No strings attached, $15 to spend on the platform to try out the whole app, the auctions, the buy it nows, whatever. Buy whatever you like with that $15. Again, you get to try it, no strings attached. That said, I will probably be making my way back to Whatnot in a week or two. I'm getting ready. I got some books I want to clear out here. Just going to make some space. The wife would like for me to clear some of this space in this spare bedroom that I use as my filming, comic book collecting room. So I'm going to try to get rid of a few books, and we got some fun things to announce once I'm allowed to announce it. So I don't think I'm allowed to announce it yet. So I got to keep those in my pocket for now, but I will have some special books for you both to auction off and to give away once we do that show, probably by the end of the month. With that all said, let's move on now to the viewer recommendation segment of the show. I reached out for you guys to give me more recommendations, and you didn't let me down. You gave me some options. I even got some options of stuff that came out last week, so I went back and read that. Sorry, I didn't put your names all in here. I don't know if you guys like that or not, if I call out your names in the actual show who made the recommendation, but I did get the recommendation to check out Welcome to Maynard. I did remember taking a look at the first issue of this when it came out, and I was like, it looked like it was going to be like a Harry Potter meets Grand Budapest Hotel kind of thing, and I wasn't too far off with that kind of idea, except that our bellhop here is also an undercover hotel detective, which adds an interesting twist to here for the story. I enjoyed this. I'm probably going to go back. I got to read issue 2 because, like I said, I think I read issue 1, but then I didn't continue with the series. This was issue 3, so I think I got to fill that gap in and see how this first story arc kind of wraps up. But with that said, I liked it. So thanks for the recommendation and going back and checking this out, because I did enjoy it. Now, for this week, with the books coming out this week, I got a number of other options thrown out, a bunch of new number ones, which, well, I might give a look-see anyway. I think one of you out there gave me like Zatanna and the New Jersey Devil book coming out of Dark Horse, and then this one out of the hard case side of things, The Loose End. So I decided to spotlight this one because, well, I might check out the other two as well. I mean, I'm definitely going to check out Zatanna, but this one seemed more interesting to kind of maybe entice others to give it a try this week. An homage to classic 90s crime drama movies. Okay, you got my attention. 90s movies, it's kind of in my wheelhouse there. So in the vein of such things as Desperado, Swingers, Heat, and Reservoir Dogs. All movies I could rewatch at any time. So you got my attention here. I'll give this a try. Couple of covers here. This is the cover A, and then we got a Reservoir Dogs, one of 2 Reservoir Dog homages coming out this week. So we got that one there, and then a couple other options there as well. So pick whatever one you like. Might go with the Reservoir Dogs, or I'll just go with cover A. Cover really doesn't matter too much for me on this one. I just want to give it a read to see how this storyline starts. Now, in the same vein as the viewer recommendations, there are a few things out there that I was also eyeballing that I think I might want to give a try or get back into if I could. And this is my taste test. So these are books that I'm probably going to go back and give a try this week to see if I should be getting back on board to reading them more full time. Starting off with one I've been in and out over the last couple of years. It's always been good. I don't know why. I think it's just because I fall far behind more so than anything, but Nightwing. Kind of want to get back in and see where Nightwing is these days because I always enjoy reading these Nightwing stories, or at least I have the last couple of years. So I want to give this one a look-see, even though it looks like he's facing off against Baxter Stockman, which is not my most appealing storyline. You know, the turtle villain. But I don't know, some sort of fly bug dude here. The Fly Boys. We'll see. I'm still going to give it a look-see and probably give it a try this week. This is the cover A. I do like there's a Dan Panosian. You know, I'm biased. I like Dan Panosian right there in the middle. And then we got one that's almost like a throwback to Entrapment, you know, the Catherine Zeta-Jones movie. But here it's with Dick Grayson instead. Pick which one you like. I'm probably grabbing the Panosian because, you know, again, I'm a fan. And then there's a pretty nice 1 in 25. I kind of like this. I like the whole just chilling out on the gargoyle, overlooking the city kind of vibe there. I don't know. Kind of a cool cover for a 1 in 25. Again, you could find it well under ratio if you actually wanted to buy that or pick it up, but it's something I'm thinking about checking out. Another title that I'm actually thinking of picking up this week is Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man #3. I didn't think I wanted the animated show. I remember telling you guys ahead of time, like, do we really need another Spidey show? I'd rather have something new. Give me something different. Give me like Nova or some other character we haven't seen before. Do we really need Spidey again? But they've done it well. I've thoroughly enjoyed the episodes I've watched so far. Looking forward to the next drop of episodes this Wednesday. But in that same vein, I think I should take a look-see at the actual prequel comic because despite the fact that the issue 1 did get a little bit hot and ended up like on the hot list, I never really gave it a fair full read through, and I'm not up to date with issue 2 or whatever. But issue 3 is coming out this week, so I might give it a look and see how this is going because hey, I was wondering where these guys are. These guys were like made to show up early on in this show, the Enforcers. So here they are in the prequel comic. So maybe this explains why I haven't seen them yet on the animated show. Because, you know, the Enforcers were always those early kind of crime villains that Spidey took on pretty early on in his career. That said, couple of covers here. We got a cover A, we got a B, and we got a C cover, which is the animation cover. So you're showing some of the character design covers, which is pretty cool. But I tell you, I'm not a fan of the sideways covers. They're kind of annoying to me. Having to look at it sideways. So to help you guys out, well, here we'll twist it. This is what it would look like, which ain't a bad thing. It looks like a trading card more than a comic cover, but I just don't like sideways covers. And don't get me started on reading sideways comics because those are even more annoying. I don't want to read it like it's a damn poster book. But it is what it is. Now, with that said, before we move on, I want to also let you guys know if you need to get supplies, your bags, your boards, boxes, long boxes, short boxes, top loaders, pages for your cards, whatever you need to keep your comics and collectibles safe. I use BCW, and if you like to use them too, use my link and use this code RENA10 below and save yourself 10% off your order because if you got to buy this stuff anyway, you might as well save some money while you do it. So there's no harm in using the code RENA10. You help out the channel, you get yourself a discount. There's really nothing to lose there too. So think about it. If you're ordering from BCW, use that code RENA10 to save 10% off your whole order. Now, we're going to move on to our next segment, which is On the Fence. This is kind of taking the place of a couple other options and segments I've done before, but these are really books that I may continue getting or I may drop at any given point. It's really at the whim of my fancy, if you will, because you saw the pull list I already got. So this is a week that I might make some of these drops, or I might give them one more shot, or I might just, I don't know. That's why I'm on the fence. It's a matter of, can I keep up and can I catch up on reading it? Do I even want to catch up on reading it? Do I just continue to buy the next issue in case I decide to catch up on reading it? These are a lot of weird decisions we as collectors have to make. And these are some of the books that aren't on my pull list for sure. I'm on the fence about. And our first one is Batman and Robin Year One. I was really enjoying it. And there's nothing against it. It's just I'm falling behind. And then I got myself wondering, hey, we're a couple issues in. Is this something maybe I'd be better off buying as a trade later on, or even something I go and hunt in the dollar bins later on? Because as you know, a lot of titles, they find their way into the cheaper bins because they're just end up being overstocked. So this could be a potential candidate for me to do that since I can't keep up on the month-to-month basis with the Samney, and Wade storyline. Despite the fact that I do like both creators and I like the idea behind this, I'm just falling so far behind now at issue 5. I think I've only read through the first 2. So it's one of those things. I got to make that call soon of whether to keep up or let this go. But here is cover A for that issue 5. A couple other fun ones here as well. It's Batman and Robin, so you're gonna get the dynamic duo on most of them here. And then we also have a 1 of 25 option if you're into that. Like I said, I don't know, on the fence. Also on the fence about this one. I know a lot of you keep telling me I should really give this a chance, and a lot of people are enjoying the New Gods new series. I didn't really love the first issue. It was all right. I just didn't love it. Maybe I got to go back, and I haven't even read issue 2 because of that. Again, there's so much else I have to read that I just haven't gotten back to it. So I'm on the fence here with issue 3. Do I keep getting these and with the hopes that I'll eventually catch up, or do I just let this one go? I don't know yet where I'm going to go with this one. I mean, I'll probably end up buying this one because I do like this cover here in the middle. It's pretty sweet. But I don't know. Even the Big Bard is not bad. The acetate one, probably not going to pay the extra couple of bucks to get the acetate cover, though it is a pretty fun Mr. Miracle looking cover. I don't know. On the fence, as I said. Let me know in the comments down below. Really, should I let this go? Should I catch up? Should I make it a priority to catch up? Or is it something you're like, hey, it's so-so, it ain't bad? I mean, I'm trying to be honest with all of you. Please be honest with me of what you think when you guys read these books, because I love reading these things as much as most of you out there. So I value opinions. So throw some at me if you got them. Also, on the fence about World Tree. I know World Tree was like so hot when it came out of the gate. It was pretty interesting, though the fact that the storyline felt a little dragged out. I'm just in and out, and I'm not up to date on the current story arc that's out there. So it's like, do I even bother? I do like these covers, though. I mean, this cover A is pretty good. I do like it just for that. So do I just buy it just because I like the cover? Or is the storyline even any good? With that said, there's a B cover here as well. I prefer the A. And then there's a couple of incentives, both of which are pretty solid. Though I'm probably not spending the extra few bucks that it takes to get them. Granted, they're only right around ratio. They're not selling it at like a huge premium or anything, but there is a 1 in 10 by Michael Gaidos. He gave us all those Alias covers back in the day. And then there's a pretty sweet 1 in 25 there as well. I don't know why I like the 1 in 25 so much, but I do. There's just something about it with the almost the uncanny valley and the dead eyes, which you think it's easy to pull off, but and I don't know. It's a weird thing as with comic art goes, because usually with like if you look at the 1 in 10, those eyes draw you in. They don't look empty and dead like the Gato's cover in the middle there, but she is sort of like I don't know. Point being, I just like it. Not going to sit here babbling on too much about the art, but they're out there if you're interested. Also, I don't know if I'm at the end of my rope here following Incredible Hulk. I have liked Philip Kennedy Johnson's run here, but it does feel like, again, it took us so long to get us to this point. I don't know how much more I got in me to try to keep up with this because I just keep falling behind. So this is, again, one of those situations where do I just keep getting them just to get them, or do I let this one go? So another Banner No More, Fully Locked Away, whatever. We passed the milestone 800 issue now. We've got it looks like maybe we're getting Harpy back. I don't know. Again, I'm a little behind. I know we had his little sidekick there wolfing out, and then we had a whole werewolf thing there going for a little bit, but I don't know what the fallout is of all that. So I guess I should read this if I want to know, but I'm just kind of on the fence about it. Cover A is probably my pick here. There is a cover B here as well, which I like the A better than the B. And then there are some other variants later on in the show, which we'll get to with, I think, the Mark Brooks animated ones. There's more on the fence. See, this is what I'm saying. You saw how many books were already on my pull list, and then I got all these that I'm kind of iffy about. Some of these are probably going to get cut because I just don't want to be spending $100 on new books every week. It's just not sustainable for me. As far as we all got budgets, right? We all got budgets. So we can do what we got to do here. Ultimate Black Panther. again, I've liked it, but I haven't really loved the run. It's just been all right. I felt early on, at least, there was just a lot of retreading familiar ground. Really, was there any new takes? And then they started doing get some tweaks in some of the characters in the Ultimate Universe, trying to make them different. But now I just keep asking myself, how much do I care? Like, how much do I care about the new Sorcerer Supreme here? Do I really need to pick up this next story arc? Because this one's been on the fence for a while. So with issue 13, it might be time to let it go as year 2 is starting. But cover A, we got some B and C covers here with a new, again, like I said, Sorceress Supreme, I guess. I don't know. This one might end up staying on the shelf for me. But again, if I'm making a mistake or you think I'm making a mistake, please let me know. Convince me. Moving on, because there's still more. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a 1 in 25. That's before we move on. I wanted to put that out there. Also, in the vein of this idea of being on the fence about things, after reading the first issue of Marvel's next big event, the One World Under Doom, I wasn't impressed with that first issue. I know some people really enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I'm just not that excited by it. That said, I'm not throwing in the towel, but this whole segment here, it's kind of in that vein. I'm on the fence about this because I'm not getting all of it. That's one thing I'll tell you right now. There's no way I can get all of it. From what I can tell, some resources I found online, there's gonna be like 35 books to get to read all of this, tie-ins and side miniseries and one-off issues here and titles here and there, and then you got the main run of the event. I'll read the main run titles, One World Under Doom, at least for now. The other stuff, we'll see. It really would depend on the title more so than this story, whether I'm picking them up. An example. We're getting a new number 1. This is Doom Academy. This is a little spinoff of Strange Academy, or a continuation, I guess, if you will, of Strange Academy, since he's in the new Sorcerer Supreme. I guess the Strange Academy is now being moved to Latveria there to be under Doom's, watchful eye, I guess. I'm curious, so I'll probably give this one a read and give this one a look-see. In particular, there's a cover in here that I like, but this is a new number 1, so I do want to highlight that out. I would have normally put this in the new number 1 section or on my pull list, but since I'm doing a whole One World Under Doom segment, I'm going to give you all the Doom books that are coming out this week in this section. So I will follow it up with something like this and let you know if it belonged in another segment too. Does that help? That said, that's the cover A. We also got this B cover option here. Looks like we got some zombies going on there. I really like the Ryan Brown one there in the middle. And you see you got the, the trade dress there on the forehead. And then it is okay right next to it there. But I think the Ryan Brown's the way to go. And then there is also a 1 in 100, which is a virgin version. Both of these actually are virgin versions of those last 2 books for the 1 in 50 and the 1 in 100. Now, normally, I'm usually fine with just saying, hey, just get the trade dress. It's the same difference. Now, I am not going out and buying the 1 in 100 for this book. I'm saying that right now. Personally, it's just an investment. I'm not willing to go and make that expense. It's right around ratio. There's some $90, $95 copies out there, etc., which are a little under ratio. And still, I don't feel like throwing that kind of money at it. But I will say, unlike most of the other books where I say, hey, what's the difference with the trade dress over the 1 in 100 virgin? I think this virgin is 100 times better without the trade dress, and that's usually not my opinion. Usually I like having the trade dress in there. It fills the dead space, but in this case, it's such a close-up view of the Doom mask. I mean, I'll go back just to show you real quick. Getting rid of the border and the stuff that's just messing up the top of his forehead actually is a plus in this case. So I actually do think the virgin is an improvement over the trade dress versions, whereas a lot of times there's dead space. And we'll get to a book in particular later where I'll show you more what I'm talking about with it. You take the trade dress off, now we got a lot of empty space that just looks weird on the cover. This is just awesome as it is. But with that said, I'm still not throwing in $100 on it because I don't have $100 at this point to throw in on it. I just don't want. Well, I mean, it's not that I don't have it. I'm just not going to. You know what I'm saying. But with that said, moving on. Storm. So we're also getting a tie-in here with Storm early on in this run. I'm liking this run on Storm. I'm enjoying it, so I'm looking forward to reading it. It's weird that this is Legacy issue 16, but it's only issue 5. It's like, I know, we had that 11-issue run from way back in the day, which is a pretty good run, by the way. Some cool covers, but it just seems weird to kind of just throw that out there, that they're legacying it, but it's 11-issue difference. With that said, this one would normally and is normally on my pull list. So this would be in the pull list, but since I'm doing this Doom segment, I put it here in the Doom segment. But Storm's on my pull list because I like it. But here's the cover A with all the Doom stuff. Then we also got this B cover here, which is actually the one I think I want to get because it's just really awesome Storm cover. But in the sense of what I was just saying, I'm fine with getting this with the trade dress. Yes, we have some lightning in our hairs at the top, but there is a 1 in 100 version. That is a virgin version. But to me, as nice as this is, and I do like this, I'm fine with the trade dress in this case. I don't feel the image is ruined by adding the trade dress like the Doom kind of is. Like the Doom is kind of messed up with putting the Doom stamp on his forehead. But that being said, there is a 1 in 100. Again, one of those books. Popular character, popular female character, good art, one to keep an eye on because it's a 1 in 100. But since it's a 1 in 100, it's just something to watch. I don't expect a lot of sales of these, but I'll be curious to see if any of them start to go over that ratio mark of $100. That's all. We'll see come Wednesday. Also, tying in this week is X Factor. I told you already for a while now, I've been off of X Factor. I just didn't love the government take and just wasn't loving the angle they had. So I can't collect and read everything. So I dropped out of X Factor after like 2 issues. But here's a tie-in one. I don't know. I don't think I needed to jump back in, but we are getting close. Look, Legacy 299. So we got anniversary issue coming up next with number 300. So I'm sure they'll probably make a big deal out of that. But I don't know. We'll see. There's a new man in charge. Cool. I don't know. Couple of covers here, though. We've got the cover A and another connecting cover there with the original X-Men. You had the Professor Xavier on that other book that I showed you a little while ago. And I think last week's X-Men book kind of goes in between them. But again, I'll do the connecting cover once they're all done if it looks interesting enough. But again, I'm not loving it. It's just a connecting cover. But not every connecting cover set is a winner to me. They do it a lot, but it doesn't always mean you have to go and get them all. You pick and choose what you want to collect. Now, moving on, still with the Doom, we got another new number 1. So this would also end up in the new number 1 segment normally, but here we are, Thunderbolts Doom Strike. We get to see this Thunderbolts team. Movie coming soon. Doom, Sorcerer Supreme, big Doom event. Makes sense. Bring this stuff together. I don't know. Not sure I'm going to pick this one up, though. I might, but I'm not really, super psyched. This will be like how much am I spending kind of, do I actually want to throw this one in the pile at this point? I don't know. Then again, I might want to give it a look-see. This will be a judgment call come Wednesday. But we've got the cover A. Pretty cool cover B with Ivan Tao, I believe, did that one. That is also the 1 in 50 virgin version of it. Once again, I don't think it's ruined by the trade dress. We're going to go back because, yes, it's her wings covered up, but it's better. Yeah, sure. The virgin is better in this case, but if I were to decide, I'd probably just get the trade dress and be fine with it. And then there's also a 1 in 25 option as well, if you're into that. One more, new number 1 and new book tying in with Doom. We have Weapon X-Men. Alex Ross cover here. Pretty cool. Some of the more deadly X-Men characters, etc. I'll probably give this one a read because it's kind of interesting. I'm kind of intrigued by this lineup of characters and how they would work together, why they're thrown together, but we'll see. And I like the Alex Ross cover. We do have other covers available as well. There's a B. Ross is better. And then there's a 1 in 25. Again, there might be other covers we're not covering until later, but 1 in 25's okay. Alex Ross is still the one for me. But as I said, those were new number 1s that would normally end up in this segment for new number 1s, but I decided to make a special Doom segment as long as the event exists. How do you guys feel about that? You think you like having all the Doom books kind of sectioned off on their own so we don't lose track of it? I don't know. I think I might keep up with it. But here we go. New number 1s, a little lighter then, since we just covered 3 new number 1s in that section. But here's that New Jersey Devil book I mentioned earlier on. I believe it was recommended as a read. I might give it a look-see. I mean, living and being from New Jersey, I am no stranger to the tales of the Jersey Devil. But here we go with a comic book from James Tynion. Could be fun. Could be cool. We'll see. I will say this. This is the cover A. This cover here in the middle is creepy as hell. That is just really weirding me out. It's just really disgusting, but in an engaging kind of way. I don't know. And then we got another option there as well. If I were to choose a cover, I would get either the A or that one in the middle, just because it is kind of revolting in a in a fun kind of way. But that this would be The Devil, a true weird story. It's kind of following up on those stories that Tinian likes to tell, like based off a true story kind of stuff. That Blue Book, the Project Blue Book stuff. It's kind of in that kind of vein, I'm assuming. So I don't know, kind of curious. And I did see the recommendation, but I'll put this one here in the new #1 section instead. Also, Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons. We're getting a new #1 here, The Rise of Hellfire. So I guess we'll get a backstory on the creation, I guess, of the Hellfire Club and Eddie here. So Eddie Munson's rise to the de facto leader of the Hellfire Club. Cool. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the final season of Stranger Things once we finally get it. I'll probably pick this up, not so much because I'm really intrigued by this storyline, but I really like the D&D homage cover in the middle here. So I'm probably getting it just for that reason. I'll give it a read then if I got time and then see if I like it to get the rest, but I'm really buying it just for that cover, just being honest. And then we got more besides these. These are all open order covers, so you pick the one that you like if you want to read this, because here's 2 more. No incentive, all open order. Next, we got a new Godzilla book coming out this week. You don't worry, you got to read that whole big paragraph. Bottom line is, interesting concept to have a criminal kind of try to set the stage of a heist around a Godzilla attack. Like a Godzilla attack would be a good cover to do the heist, is the theory behind this book. All right. So apparently they got some way to attract Godzilla to attack, and then they'll do their heist. Could be a fun little kind of a angle on this story, almost like that aliens doing the invasion of the spa in Paradiso, that Marvel storyline. I don't know. Seems like an interesting concept. Maybe I'll give this a look, but I don't know if I'm going to have time. But this gives us our second Reservoir Dogs homage this week. Again, talking about a heist. Makes sense to do a Reservoir Dogs callback. If I do pick this up, I'll probably grab the Reservoir Dogs one, just because it's Reservoir Dogs, but with Godzilla. I like both things. Sue me. But if you want the incentive, you got to go with the cover A and get that virgin version of it, which again, you got a lot of dead space at the top. That's one of my examples. You see, like the top of this book, when you get into virgin, it's just so blank up there. There's not even like clouds in the sky. Something to fill that space when there's no trade dress. Moving on, Star Wars, High Republic, Fear of the Jedi. I think they're finally getting into year 3, the phase 3, or wrapping up this era of their storylines that they'd planned out years ago. I'd fallen off ages ago. I just was sorry. I couldn't keep up with reading all of the Star Wars books. There were just so many, especially when they added in the Dark Horse stuff. But I don't know. Might be intrigued to see how we're going to go kicking off this era here. But 10 years at Marvel, special event there. This is the cover A. There is a B cover here as well, which is pretty cool callback to those characters. I remember I don't remember to pronounce his name. The dude, he started off the series with no hand. His hand was missing and his Padawan. And then we got some, a virgin 1 in 100 of that Nodo cover in the middle, and a 1 in 25 of Buryaga. I think it's Buryaga. I mean, it could be another Wookiee Jedi, but pretty sure, again, I'm behind. So sorry if I'm misspeaking as it relates to these characters, but just kind of curious. This is probably why I'm going to give it a read to kind of catch myself back up to see where we're at and who's still around. But with that said, those are out there. And, take a look-see. This is one I'll watch because Star Wars 1 in 100s can be tricky. Sometimes they get ignored completely. Sometimes they pop out of nowhere. So I'll keep an eye on it. This one doesn't have a pop vibe to me, but who knows? Who knows? That said, and while not technically a #1, this is an issue 0. We're going to be talking about Street Fighter Prime issue 0, even though that has a 1 on it. Pretty sure this is 0, though. Pretty cool cover A. There are a couple other options here as well. Yeah, there's a 0. Oh, no, I'm sorry. See, it looks like a black box with a 1 in it. But no, it's a big black 0. That's what was confusing me when I looked at it. You'll see there's a 0 there with the Guile and Ken fighting it out there on the B cover. There's also a Chun-Li cover here in the middle, which is pretty cool. I like that one, as well as a sketch blank cover. And then there are 2 incentives, both 1 in 5s. One has some animal versions of the characters for some reason I don't quite understand, nor do I care. Not getting that one, but I am intrigued by this top secret cover to be revealed on release cover for this 1 in 5. I'm always intrigued by a top secret cover, reveal, spoiler cover, whatever you want to call it. I haven't seen what the spoiler is yet. I looked. It isn't. I haven't seen it available yet. Maybe it popped out while I was at the movie today. But so far, don't know what this cover could look like. But I did order one for myself because I'm gambling. It's a 1 in 5. It wasn't that expensive. It was basically the same price as the regular covers when I ordered it from Midtown. So I figured it was worth a shot. That said, I also like Street Fighter comics. I don't know. Something weird about them. I like flipping through them. I like the art. The stories aren't the best, so I'm not going to say, oh, get it for the art. I really pick them up for the art. I just kind of dig that vibe. Anyway, there's our new number 1 segments. Now we can get into all the plethora of different variants we have available to us this month. We're going to first start over at DC and go back to our Hush variants, because while we had a week off last week, we got a few this week. So Hush variant covers for this week. World's Finest is giving us this, feels like a Swamp Thing callback, but I didn't tie it in. I didn't do the research to figure out what Swamp Thing cover it looks like, but it definitely looks like a Swamp Thing cover to me. But that's I'm sorry, it's not Batman 157. It's the World's Finest number 36. There is a regular cover, but this isn't the Hush cover. This is the regular cover, and I left off the Hush cover. My bad. I can go dig back. I'm sorry. I don't have time to go back and dig for it. There's a Hush cover on this one as well. It'll look something probably very similar to something like this. Here's Catwoman 73 with Hush on it. And then there's the regular Catwoman cover. I'm sorry. I was looking at it. I was like, this don't make sense. I screwed up. My fault. My bad. Moving on. We're also getting this Nightwing. So going back to Nightwing, apart from getting the Baxter Stockman cover A, there's a Hush cover here as well, if you're into that. So there's a couple of Hush options for you. Now we'll move on to DC's Black History Month options, which this week we only have one, and it's on Wonder Woman. We're getting a pretty cool Nubia cover. So if you're interested in collecting this set, you only got one to pick up this week. So there's our one from the DC side of things this week. However, Marvel for Black History Month, I think, is giving us another handful, another 3 or so. So let's see what Marvel's giving us. And I think this will wrap up their covers for the month. And I think I'm going to have my Marvel short with all the covers dropping later this week, because DC might have some more for us next week. So I'll do that one to wrap up February next week. But anyway, the 2025 Marvel Black History Month covers, we've got Miles Morales here with this newer suit they got out of Wakanda. And then we got a Storm cover here as well. Pretty cool with the white look. She got that from Eternity. And then we've got Frenzy from X Factor. Yeah, not bad. Wrapping them all up. Makes it, what is that, 2, 6, there's 8 in total. So it's not a huge set to collect if you wanted to go and get them. But these are the last 3 for the month. For the Marvel regular side of things, this does not count the Star Wars Marvel stuff, because yes, Star Wars also is doing their own set. Granted, they're only doing 4 covers. We got 1 at the beginning of the month, and we've got 2 this week. So we got Ahsoka here. So we got the character of Vale, who is from, isn't she from the video game? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's from the video game. Granted, I haven't read a lot of the current Marvel run, again, with the comics, but this character feel like she was in the, which was a really fun game, that Outlaws. Anyway, she's there on the cover here for the, I think, the final issue of Ahsoka. I mean, 8 issues. Feels like it's got to be the final issue. And then we got the twins from the Acolyte, which, again, I know it got a lot of crap, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. I would have watched the second season had they made it. I'm not saying it was the best show in the world by any stretch, but I was intrigued and entertained enough to want more, personally. But doesn't look like we're going to get that. And I don't think it has to do with the negative reviews as much as it just didn't have, it just cost too much. I think the series itself just cost too much. So the investment is just not worth the return, because while it wasn't the worst, like, viewed show, because that's the other thing. If you go and check out the stats on it, it was still a higher viewed show for Disney Plus. It just wasn't enough to justify the cost, because this had a huge price tag with all the special effects, etc. But anyway, Osha and May on the cover here of the High Republic Fear the Jedi book that we looked at earlier. And then we've got one more coming next week to finish up the 4 Black History Month covers for Star Wars. So I'll do a short for that too next week. Feels like they're picking up the pace on the Marvel Iconic covers. You know, those Todd Nauck white background covers, because they were coming once every 2 weeks. Now we got back-to-back weeks, and I think we're getting another one next week. So Daredevil this week out, Iconic variant edition by Todd Nauck. Cool. Still feel like they're just following suit with what DC was doing, because DC has some foil covers that look very, very similar to this, just spotlighting a character in this way on a white background. I just don't think this is necessary, but we'll see. Still haven't found a full list, but we do have a few more. But I'm pretty sure West Coast Avengers is coming out next week, so I think we might be getting that one. And as far as when we get the other books, it'll be whenever they're released. And then there's more coming on the way. So we'll see. Still rolling on, more variants this month. Torch, just like the Thing before it, and we're getting Sue Storm's Invisible Woman next month. But for this month, let's go through the Torch variants. Here we have Black Cat on the Amazing Spider-Man. What is this, issue 68 coming out this week? Also Daredevil. Here's another Daredevil cover. Another theme variant. We had the Iconic. Now we've got the Torch variant. This one's actually pretty cool looking. Pretty fun design by John Boy. So John Boy Myers did this one. I kind of like it, but we'll see if this goes anywhere. And then we've got this doesn't make sense at all. Exceptional X-Men cover of Iceman on fire. Yeah, I'll wait for you to explain to me how this works. He's Iceman, but he's on fire. I'm not talking about freezer burn. This doesn't make sense. But at the same time, I've also Exceptional X-Men is another one of the X titles. I dropped out early. Just wasn't for me. Couldn't read everything. I tapped out quickly. So this one also not exciting me very much. Animated covers. So here are those Mark Brooks animated covers. I really do like these, but there's so many of them. I didn't bother trying to go and get the whole set. Just too many. I think there's like 20 something. But this week in particular, there are 10. There are so many this week. My short doesn't even show you the Virgin version 1 and 50s. I just show you the regulars. And even that was a tight squeeze to get 10 in under a minute. But here we go. Exceptional X-Men. You got Kitty, Lockheed. Pretty fun. And again, I like the Disneyfied kind of look to these characters. I think it kind of works. I would watch an animated show / movie that looked like this. It's almost like Frozen meets X-Men. Yeah, I'd probably watch it. But here we go with that option. This is Exceptional X-Men number 6, like I said. That cover reminds me of Inhumans. Remember that Inhuman number 1? Was it Joe Mad who started that one? Anyway, getting off track. Point being, this also has a Virgin 1 and 50. These are very, very cheap. I saw Midtown had some of these 1 and 50s listed for only like $13 for some of them. So I don't know if there's a big market for the 1 and 50s, but hey, they're doing them. So they're out there and they can be found for pretty cheap. As I said, I saw listings for like under $15 for 1 in 50s. It's not something you normally see from the big retailers, but I guess there just isn't a lot of demand for these for whatever reason. But moving on, I like the Hulk, She-Hulk here. This is on the Incredible Hulk book that we just had, the regular cover for. I was on the fence about. I do like the design here. Yeah, one of the better ones, I think, for this week. 1 in 50 version of this as well. Then we've also got Laura Kinney, another book we already covered. 1 in 50 option for that one, too. Mystique, another book on my pull list, but probably not going to get the animated book. We got Destiny, you got Mystique also. Fun. I like them. Like I said, I just like them. On 1 in 50 here. NYX with Mojo. 1 in 50 here. Almost there. Storm, also on my pull list. You got Storm. You got Forge. I was like, I drew a blank on his name. It's Forge. Got those two there. 1 in 50 option as well. See how this slides right in? There was a 1 in 100. There's also a 1 in 50. Just sneak these right in there. Just like X Factor. So you got Polaris and Havoc on this one. Also, we got a 1 in 50. And then almost at the end, Uncanny X-Men. This one was supposed to come out a couple of weeks ago, but it came out this week. Rogue and Gambit, also one of the better ones, I think, of the week. And a 1 in 50 option here as well. And then I think our last one is Weapon X-Men. So you got Chamber and Warpath there. 2 of these new members of this Weapon X-Men team. And a 1 in 50 option there. Oh, I'm sorry. Still one more. because Warpath made me think. X-Force reminded me we still have X-Force, because X-Force also has a new issue coming out this week, and that's another X title that I just kind of just tapped out pretty quickly just because I didn't love it. Like, I read the first issue with Deadpool leading the team, and I was like, I don't know if this is really for me. Anyway, I'm not even sure who both of these two are now that I'm looking at them. I don't know who the girl with the butterfly is, because the other one is Rachel Summers. Don't know what she's going by as far as a call sign or whatever we would, alter ego, her name, her superhero name, whatever we want to call it. But there's a 1 in 50 there as well. Sorry, just drew a blank. It happens. I'm filming this show. It's almost been an hour of me just sitting here talking, and sometimes, I get a little bubble in the brain and I forget stuff. But with that said, look at that long list. We've got a handful coming out for last week of February, and then one that's not coming out till next month, which I hate those types of delays. Then don't do the cover if you can't come out on time. But we'll cover them in a final short probably next week, and I'll include that March one too. All right, just so we can try to get done here, as we're already almost up to an hour. Later prints, there are a decent bit of later prints here, so I'll do my best to get through them. But Godzilla, Kingdom of Monsters, there's a foil version to celebrate 25 years at IDW. It's like a remastered edition. It's reprinting, I believe, a 2011 comic book. So mostly this is like a reissue. So that's why it finds itself in the later printings. Well, it's not technically like a second printing. It is a reissue, reprint edition of a book that came out, again, like 15 years ago. Hush, they're continuing doing these. I don't know why. We need them for all of them. As I said, here's issue 611 this week. You can find issue 611 at dollar bins. So I don't know why you need to go and pay more for the facsimile reprint, let alone, unless you just want to pay more and get the shiny foil version. I guess you can do that for $7. But seriously, you can probably find this in a dollar bin. Just saying. And then they're really dragging here. Almost done. Crisis on Infinite Earths, issue 11. Regular facsimile for $4. Get that blank sketch for $5. And if you want to spend even more, get a foil one for $6. Cool. Marvel also doing more facsimiles as we're getting Uncanny X-Men 132. This is the issue where we get Wolverine giving us that iconic best there is at what he does line, I believe, right? When he's in the sewer there. But we got Sebastian Shaw in the Hellfire Club, etc. And then we also have a 1 in 25 cover for the facsimile, and this is that callback to him being in the sewer, as I mentioned. Now we have the later printings. Those are the facsimiles and remasters. Now are the regular later printings. We got a second print for Power Rangers Prime #3. We got a second printing for the first issue with Batman Dark Patterns with the dude with all the nails in his face. We've got a second print for New Gods #2. Since we got New Gods #3, you can catch up. This, I believe, was the acetate cover that they now used for the second print. We've also got a second printing for Deadpool and Wolverine #1. Surprisingly entertaining read. I didn't really want this title, but when I read it, I kind of enjoyed it. So yeah, sometimes you get surprised. But if you'd missed out, there's a second print coming, as well as a 1 in 25 incentive. Unnecessary to me. And again, I started looking these up to try to give you those pre-sale prices. But yes, while there's an occasional $40 sale, there is not a lot of movement yet. So who knows where this will land. We'll look at it come Wednesday. But I don't foresee like a lot of movement. There is another one here. This next book might, just because of the artist. But we're also getting a second print for Magic, as well as a blank second print cover. So you got that. But there may be folks who do want the J. Scott Campbell second print virgin cover. It's kind of recolored, redone. Again, I looked this up. Yes, some copies selling for a bit of a premium, but I didn't really want to start here just to do it on one book. So we may see this one talked about a little bit later in the week. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know if the volume will be there or if the price increase will be there. But so far, this one's standing out from the group of second print incentives a little bit, because we're not done with second print incentives at a Marvel, because we got another one here with Ultimate Wolverine #1, also giving us a blank sketch cover and giving us a 1 in 25 design cover for the incentive here. Magic is probably the winner out of this group, like I said. Moving on with Oversized. I know lately Oversized has started off with other later printings of Oversized books, but this week, no, we do not have those. But we do have a brand new issue of Judge Dredd magazine. Pick that up if you're into it. I know Marco loves these, always makes us read them, but he's taking the week off from TAC. So we'll still have the TAC show this week, but we will have somebody stepping in for Marco as sort of a guest. With that said, Battle Action. We're also getting the next issue of Battle Action here. Or magazine size, oversized books. If you're reading those, there's some Garth Ennis stories in there, etc. Cool stuff. Pick them up if you're into it. All right, I got a few covers I want to cover here before we wrap up, which will be probably close to an hour, maybe just over. But covers this week, there are a few that, despite the fact that I'm not getting the title for regular purposes, I do like this Lyrics League cover on Exceptional X-Men #6. It's really nice. This is the trade dress version of it. I mean, it's not the final version with the final trade dress, but you get the idea. And then there is a 1 in 100 virgin option. Yeah, this one could be popular, as I mentioned, with the Storm and the Wolverine Laura Kinney one ahead of it. Could be popular. So far, we'll see. We'll see. X-Force #8. As I said, not picking up normally, but not bad. Jay Ancillotto cover here. So take a look at that. Got Hella there in the background. And then we got a 1 in 100 virgin version of this one as well. So, I don't know. I kind of like it for the art. And I like Jay Ancillotto. Again, I could be mispronouncing his name, but I don't think so. I think that's how it's said. Moving on. Ahsoka. I mentioned we had that Ahsoka book earlier on with the Black History Month. But here, the regular issue, David Nakayama. Big fan of David Nakayama. Like the cover A. Plus, I remember this fight scene from the show. Again, another show I enjoyed. Thankfully, we are getting a second season of this. But more covers. We got a Okazaki cover here available, as well as a 1 in 25 option by Annie Wu. I like all of these. I haven't been getting this title because I've kind of given up on a lot of Marvel Star Wars titles because it's just so much out of the wallet, especially when they're giving us just adaptations of the TV shows. Not something I particularly need, but I do like some of these covers, so I might consider it. I don't know. We'll see. But try to wrap up here with Cheesecake. This will be the end of the final this will be the final segment for the show for today. And we'll start off quickly with Conan the Barbarian. Cool. Not bad. Isn't that Bellet? Is that Bellet? I don't know. I'm not up to date on reading my Conan books, to be fair. This Freakier Than Normal. Antarctic Press always delivers on the Cheesecake, so this one's not like normal, in the norm of what we normally see, but yeah, it starts to hint towards that. It's not so much as like this book right here, this Manga Z book, number 23. Like, this is straight up anime Cheesecake at its best. So pick it up if you like it. And then we got our normal DC stuff, which, toes the line. While this Sebastian Fiamora, I believe, did this for this cover A. This isn't really cheesecakey per se. We do get some more options here with the Cho and the Dan Panosian. Like both Cho and Panosian on these. Definitely like them both. And then we also got 1 in 25 option here, as well as 1 in 50, which is the same as the Cho version there. I like them both. Again, under ratio if you want to pick up those variants, but they are pretty nice if you like that. Moving on, Wonder Woman. I mentioned earlier on, we had the Nubia cover. So here are the other Wonder Woman cover options with Grail there in the background. Again, I'm hoping they do something more with Grail. So the character really needs a bigger profile. But we got a Nakayama cover, which is kind of fun with the cheetah print background. And then we've got kind of sort of a dark posing, version of Diana there in the middle. And then we have a 1 in 25, which is not cheesecakey at all, especially when you add in the baby. But I just wanted to show you that there is a 1 in 25. If you wanted to get a Wonder Woman 20 or Wonder Woman 18, 1 in 25, this would be your cover. Now, this was another recommendation for a read, and I'll probably give this a read, and this will be our final book, I think, of the day. Zatanna, #1. So DC is giving us a brand new Zatanna title. We'll see how long this one lasts. But new issue 1 with a lot of covers. Cover A here. We've got B's and C's. Not bad. Favorite is probably the Sozomaika there in the middle. Really cool. And then there's a sketch cover. And then they're giving us not 1, not 2, but 3 foil editions. 3 foil covers. And one of them is a virgin version of that Sozomaika in the middle. And this is what I'm talking about with Wasted Space. So yes, there's also what I was talking about, the Marvel Iconics ripping off DC, doing the characters posing on a white background on a foil cover. Boom. Even though it's not white, I think it's a silver foil background technically. But yeah, you got that option. We also got the virgin version of the Sozo Micah cover in foil, which again, I love the art. I like the picture, but now the bottom third of the cover is just dead empty space without the trade dress. You could have left the trade dress there to at least fill it and balance the image out, because now it just looks weird to me. And then there is also a Derek Chu option, which is also pretty nice. You got that, you know, worm's eye view shot there. Cool. We also have two incentives just to wrap us up here, with a Sowie doing a 1 in 25, and then the regular artist, I think it's Jamal Campbell. Why we didn't get a regular Jamal Campbell cover in any of these until the 1 in 50, I don't know, but he is doing the 1 in 50, which I kind of like. But that is the 1 in 50 for Zatanna #1. And with that, that's our wrap up for the week. I'm just glad my voice held out throughout that, because again, I felt like it was going to go on me early on, but it hung in there, and I'm glad you hung in there. So I just want to take the time to thank you for all the support and for checking the show out. Hopefully you enjoyed this as on the channel. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm going to see if maybe I can get another throwback Chasing Ghosts out for you guys for tomorrow. If I can't, I'll hold it for next week. But we will have, like I said, we'll be having the tax show live Wednesday night at about 9:15 thereabouts. Dollar Bin Digging, I'll make sure to drop one of those on Thursday. The Hot 10, as usual, at 9 o'clock every Friday, both here on the site and over on comicbookinvest.com. Both drop simultaneously. Then stick around for the boys on the Qualified Live Saturday night special on Saturdays with the SNS boys. Star Wars on Sunday with the Dark Side, and then we'll start it up all fresh again with another watch list next Monday. So there's our schedule for now. Hopefully you're on board for all of it, and check out all of our shows. And again, I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you all later with some more content. All right.